Hello and welcome back to another color class. I'm Sarah.
I'm Lucinda.
In today's video, we're going to be diving into patterns within the 12 palette system. So patterns we talk about being a bit tricky.
Yeah,
They can be hard.
Very true. And we've gotten some questions. And one of the questions I hear so often is, well, I really love animal print, but I can't wear it with my season. The only people that get good animal prints are autumns. They can wear leopard.
Autumns can wear the typical leopard. They can.
We're here to tell you, no. Everybody gets animal print. Everybody. You want animal print, you get animal print. In fact, pretty much if you want to print, we'll teach you how to wear print in every single one of the 12 palette system. That even when we do 16 palette, we'll do that as well. But basically today, what we're showing you is we're going to look at winter, autumn, spring, summer, and we're going to have that divided out on a wheel. And then we're going to take those 4 seasons and divide them into 12 palette subcategories of the 4 seasons. And we're going to give you an idea of a great way to wear an animal print, depending on your one of your 12 dominant or your 12 characteristics.
So let's just dive into our 12 palette system and see how it all breaks down. So here we go. We have winter up at the top, spring on the right, summer at the bottom, autumn on the left.
And then each of those is divided into 3 subcategories. With winter, you can be a cool winter, you can be a deep winter, or a clear winter. With spring, you can be a warm spring, a clear spring, or a light spring. With summer, you can be a cool summer, a light summer, or a soft summer. And with autumn, you can be a warm autumn, a soft autumn, or a deep autumn. Now, what's fun about this particular color wheel gives us kind of an idea of where the 6 dominant characteristics fall into the 12 palette system. Right. And it encompasses the 4 seasonal four palette system. In that, you can see deep, you can see clear, you can see light, you can see soft, and they're sitting next to each other on this color wheel. And of course, cool resides at the top and the bottom of the color wheel. But the reason that I love this particular illustration is so often Sarah says, well, soft, I can wear soft summer shades.
Right.
And I say to you, well, I can wear soft autumn shades. If you look at them sitting next to each other on the color wheel, you can see why.
They're very similar.
Exactly. And with deep autumns and deep winters, the same is true, because the most important thing with, deep is that the colors are rich and deep. Look at, if you're looking at light, again, they're sitting next to each other, they're light. And when you're talking about somebody who is light, they may have a little bit of red or gold in their hair, but it's not a lot. You can wear some of the shades that are over on the light summer category if you're a light spring. Mm-hmm. So basically, this just shows you the hows and the whys of it.
A tip that I also want to bring up that we talk about sometimes is how to figure out if something works within your palette, whether the color is right, whether the pattern is right. And I love this one because you always talk about it as well. Blurring your vision a little bit, just kind of going a little hazy on your vision. And what do you see? For example, with the winter, I can see between the black and the white pattern, I can see very high contrast. I can see a vivid white, a vivid black. So I know that color is going to fall within the clear category, for example, and be within the winter palette. But if I were to go a little hazy on my vision on the summer palette, it all kind of blends together. It creates this soft color. For example, I'm going to do it for the light blue, the light summer, that blue leopard print. It all kind of just goes like a baby blue. And that's how I know that color, that pattern is going to fall softer on somebody. So that's just a quick tip if you're looking out shopping, trying to find something within your palette.
Yeah. For those of you who know you're one of the 4 seasons, that you shop that. Basically, there are certain buzzwords that are always kind of the dominant word to think of. cool, you know, soft, muted, clear. And these are the buzzwords that give us clues in terms of our patterns. And if you're looking at the wheel, for example, and let's look at cool. Cool winter, cool summer. They're kind of opposing each other. Now, one thing I want you to pay close attention to is in terms of the patterns, I've given you a zebra pattern for winter because I just love the zebra pattern for winters because it's bold, pretty much in any color. It's vivid, and it gives you lots of contrast from a stripe to the background. And so we've shown you how a zebra pattern can be changed to be a cool zebra, a deep zebra, which you want to be really vivid and kind of robust in terms of its color, and a clear zebra, which here we're showing you the absolute high point of white and the deepest point of black, as contrasty as it gets. Then working our way around the this color wheel, I'm going to go to autumn next because if you notice, there's not a lot of difference between the deep autumn and the deep winter, except we've added in a rust, some rust to soften. There's that word there for autumn. Soft is a perfect description of an autumn. We've softened up that pattern by adding that rust color in between the vividness of the black and the hot pink. Moving around, everybody knows that this warm leopard, the traditional leopard for autumn, a warm autumn, is fabulous. But what happens when you're talking about a soft autumn? Well, we take away that high contrast point and that low contrast point. We make it something that we call an analogous color scheme in terms of the leopard. And by analogous color scheme, we're giving you one color in various tonalities. And that's a great representation of something that a soft can wear, the analogous color scheme, because it's not high contrast. Now, a polychromatic color scheme gives you similar kind of dot pattern, but a great example of that is over on the spring area under light. It gives you dots of all sorts of different colors. That would be the polychromatic color scheme. Now, one thing that I want you to pay special attention to is the size of the pattern. Under summer, we've got a small pattern because summers are light and airy and muted and delicate. And compare that to the bold pattern of the winter, which is high contrast, very, very bold. That's a case where you would probably want to choose a smaller pattern with your animal print versus a larger pattern. I spoke just a minute ago about the analogous versus the polychromatic color scheme, and a great example of that is what we've done with the autumn palette versus the spring palette, because spring is bright. Not necessarily high contrast, but it's bright. So a great way to make an animal pattern work for you as a spring is to have multiple colors in the animal pattern. And we call that polychromatic color scheme. Finally, another thing to look at is whether your animal pattern is saturated versus desaturated. We may need to define those words. Saturated means that the color is absolutely super ultimate, as rich as it gets. And think about the word saturated. If you are dipping fabric in a dye and that dye got into the fabric and you made it as deep and as rich as that dye would allow, it would be very saturated. Or you take that fabric out of the dye and you dip it into water to get rid of some of the dye. You're desaturating the color and basically muting the color. So a way to look at your wheel is whether it's saturated or desaturated. For example, with the winters, those colors tend to be saturated. With summers, those colors tend to be desaturated. And that's a way that you can kind of look at any pattern and know that whether or not it's right for any one of your 12 characteristics.
We always say our favorite way to teach color analysis is by actually showing the different colors in a wheel like this, so you get an idea as you go around how everything falls within those categories. And that's the way that we learned it. So hopefully this guide was helpful to you, especially within the 12 palette system. It feels like a lot, but we thought by teaching the 6 palette system first, you would understand a little bit better when going into the 12 palette system. And also we have the 16 palette system after we finish the 12, which will lead right into that. So all of it is just based on top of one another.
Absolutely. And if you subscribe, what will be coming up next is a deep dive into each of the 4 seasons as they're divided up into their 3 subcategories. And
Correct.
this is going to be anything that you didn't quite get here. If there was something that you didn't quite capture, mentally, once we do those deep dives, going back to these different charts and graphs and things that we're giving you, it will all be clear.
Absolutely. So as you mentioned, subscribing really helps out our new YouTube channel. We are so excited to be here, and we want to keep doing this. Liking, sharing, commenting, all those things helps us out. We're trying to build
community.
Right. We're trying to build the best color analysis community we possibly can. Having like-minded people that just enjoy color, beauty, fashion, style, everything together. We are so happy to have all of you here and thankful to be here as well. So lastly, I'm Sarah.
I'm Lucinda.
This has been another color class, and we'll see you in our next video.